Hello, BookTube, and it's time for another Friday Reads. Another week has gone by. This week hasn't been the greatest for me for reading. With my long COVID, it seems like anything can upset things. So I had a bit of a cold, head cold mostly, this week, and a friend of mine here taught me a new word. Well, I guess you could call it a word. It's called lurgy. I think that's how you pronounce it, or lurgy. It's supposed to be a humorous way of catching, like for somebody to catch, like a cold or some sort of some kind of thing here in the UK. I'd never heard of it before, but there you go. You not only see a lot of books on this channel, you learn some new words. Um, Yeah, so I didn't get a lot of reading done. I did the reading for the Future History Project, and I finished Rabelais' Pantagruel. I should have finished that on the weekend. So I'm a week behind on this, so I'm a week behind on all my readings this week. This is just a fantastic book. It's long. It's over 1,000 pages. Um, with the introduction, we're talking almost 1,100 pages, just shy of 1,100 pages. But it's fantastic. It's about, Gargantua and Pantagruel was written 1550s ish, 30s to 50s. There's several books that make up this. And it's fantastical in many ways. This is translated and edited with an introduction and notes by M.A. Screech, Penguin Books. The translation was done in 2006. This is my first reading of Screech's translation. I was reading this with Scott Bryant of the Bookish Bryants and Brandy of Booklectic. And yeah, it's I think it's a fabulous translation, and it's a work of scholarship really, because he takes every variant, from the first edition, from the authorized edition, and then at the end to a manuscript of the final book, which may or may not be Rabelais, because it was published after his death posthumously. So it could have been based on some of his notes, which don't exist, but the manuscript for uh, the book 5 does exist, and there's differences between them, and there's differences between the other editions, because he was marked as a heretic for what he wrote in here. So on subsequent editions, he changed a little bit. So Screech has all that in the footnotes. And in each chapter, which I guess can be a bit daunting, especially for someone who's not read it before, each chapter has an introduction telling about where all the references are that he's referring to classical literature, Erasmus or other Renaissance thinkers, the Bible, retelling a story or getting the story a little different or wrong, but it's, for humor's sake, and explaining about the translation of where words, Latin words can sound sort of similar at times, and he's making a pun on that. Sometimes it's hard to translate, and the same as French words will not translate to have the same impact for the humor that he was getting, or the insults, really. At times they're insults, and the humor goes from everything from bodily functions, a lot of fart jokes, um, and even like really cruel, bodily harming jokes, and parodies about the law, about religion, about monks, about the clergy. You name it, nothing is sacred, sort of, to him. He didn't really care for the Pope, so there's lots of stuff in there, anti-popish in a sense, making fun of the Pope in a roundabout way. So it's just fantastic, and he's also like there's a bit of, like, there's magic and all sorts of stuff thrown in occasionally. Even oh, it just slipped my mind. The precursor of chemistry. I can't see this is the problem at times. My mind just blanks out on words. Alchemy. Took a while for the synapses to connect. Yeah, they do this. They don't connect. But yeah, so it's a fabulous book. But it does you have to put some effort into it. But it's well worth it, I think, if any of that sounds interesting to you. Now, what I should have read last week or this past week, was The Third Round by Sapper. That's the third Bulldog Drummond book, but I'll be reading it. I should read that. No, I'll read that Sunday probably. I should be able to get that done on Sunday. And then tomorrow or Sunday, I might switch these up, will be The Lodger by Mary Balak Lowndes. And this will be my book to film for next week. And I'm going to be doing the Hitchcock film of rendition of it. And this is it's a print on demand, I think. No, it's not. But it's one of those odd shaped little narrower paperbacks for some reason. I don't really like them so much. But oh well. This week's tomorrow will be, it's one I read a little while ago. It's A Final Vance, The Benson Murder Case by S.S. Van Dyne. And I watched the film on YouTube. It's streaming on YouTube, and that'll be my book to film for tomorrow. I found it an interesting book, but I'll talk more about it in my video. And for the Future History Project, this week's reading, or coming up, week 7, is I, Robot to Protect by Mickey Zucker Reichart. It's a little longer than I thought. It's almost 400 pages, so that'll that'll take a day or two for me to read. About 2 days probably. I'll spin it out to that. I should have been reading for the second week of FFS, the Sword and Sorcery, Conan, but that I will do. This I'll read on Monday. I won't read it all. I'll read as far as I can, and hopefully I can then have a video out on Tuesday. Or just a quick note regarding the Future History Project videos, because I was doing Monday and Thursdays because there were short stories, so I split them up. But now we're going into 3 weeks of novels, so I will just do them on Thursdays. Tuesdays, I'll continue to do my Asimov biography. So maybe I might do this then on Monday. I might switch around again. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure things out here, logistic wise. So I might do this. I might do a video on Monday for this. That means I'll read it on Sunday. That might be actually the better thing to do. So it'll be Monday or Tuesday that I'll do a video of this. And also too, I wanted to read this Rabelais and His World by Mikhail Bakhtin, translated by Helene Izvolsky. And I'll see where I can get with that. It's about 450 pages. Yeah, it's about 450 pages. So I'll see where I can get with that this week. But yeah, that'll be my reading for next week. And as I say, this week was a bit of a dud. Also, too, I am joining. Well, there's 3 things that are happening in March, because I'm continuing with the Future History Project, but I'm doing March of the Mammoths, and the one that I'd already sort of, well, it wasn't sort of picked for March of the Mammoths, but it fits for that, is the Decameron. I was going to read that in March, but I did a video for three other books that I wanted you, the subscribers, to choose the other three books and sort of number them. I'll leave a link to the video, and it's basically, if you haven't seen it and voted, then please do. At the moment, the front runner is, for number one, is Bleak House, and number two is Middlemarch. I think, yeah, Middlemarch, and then number three is coming out to. I'm pretty sure that's it. Tom Jones, the Foundling, not the singer. Thank God. Yeah, Bleak House, Middlemarch, and Tom Jones will be the three, and I should be able to get them all done. But if I can't, then I should be able to get the two done. But other ones can pop up. The other ones are Little Dorrit, Vanity Fair, and Daniel Deronda. Daniel Deronda is the only one that I haven't read, and I was hoping somebody would pick. Well, that hasn't come up. It's had a few votes, but it hasn't come up. So if it doesn't happen by the end of next week, Daniel Deronda, if it's still floundering out there, what I'll do is I'll read it in the last week of February, or like, next week. So that's what I'll do with that, because I do want to read it, and I figure I might as well. But it won't be for March of the Mammoths. But it is short enough, I think. It's only about 800 pages, just over 800, I think. So that'll be fine for me doing it at the end of the month. All things are, if things work out. But anyway, I will be doing other videos for the week. Plans are, as I say, the FFS, the February fantasy stories, for oh, that's the wrong one, but for Conan, Sword and Sorcery. But then I'll see if I can get to this year, because that's the third week, which is Dark Fantasy, and this is Doorway to Dilemma, Bewildering Tales of Dark Fantasy. It's a British Library Tales of the Weird, edited by Mike Ashley, and it's a collection of short stories. James O'Brien, Morley Roberts, Frank R. Stockton, Arthur Macon, or Mackin, Mary E. Wilkins, Cleveland Moffat, H.G. Wells, Catherine Wells, Madeline Yale, Wynne, and there's a whole bunch in here, so I'll see what I can do with those, but that I might not get to immediately this week. But yeah, the biography will continue with Isaac Asimov. I want to start doing some other shorter ones now, especially, I think, over the next 3 weeks anyway, because and that's where I might do, still on Monday, I might do something really short, because the third autobiography of Asimov is done in topic wise rather than chronological, and there's a huge bunch of short chapters on him talking about his friends, other science fiction writers. So I want to sort of, do it in that fashion, and I'll do a whole bunch like that. I might do, I'll see how, if I can do them really short, then I'll do a whole bunch of them. Like, I might even be able to do it more often than not. We'll see how that goes. And also, too, I've got to do some more reading on sort of the critical material around the robots, but we're going to be with the robots for a while. So I'm not rushing into that at the moment, because the robots will be hanging around for a while. And there's at least, well, there's two tags that I'm thinking of doing. There's one I will do, and I'll record it right after this, and I'll post it for tomorrow. For Saturday, I think, yeah, and just continue. as much as I can, because when I have good reading time, I'm trying to max it out. Uh, and like this week wasn't so good, but I think I can make up for it a little bit, because I like I have sort of set plans. March is going to be heavy. March is really going to be heavy, especially with the four big books. That's like, four 800 to 1,000 page books. Well, or 800 to 1,000 page book every week, plus other things. So that will be a challenge, and um, that's how I'm looking at it, a challenge. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good week, and I hope we have a good reading weekend. And I'll see you next time, BookTube.